Hello and welcome back to Anywhere But Here, episode 278. My name is Tom.
And my name's Ant.
And you can find us at abhpod.com, where if you scroll down past about 5 or 6 episodes, there is a banner, an Amazon banner that you can click through. Go to amazon.co.uk, do your shopping as you usually would, and we get 5% of your total basket spend at the end. You don't spend any more, and they don't take anything away from you. Your experience is not changed in the slightest, but we get a tiny 5% slice of what you've spent that comes out of Amazon's profits, and that goes to keep our web hosting on.
That's right. Another way you can help us as well is, and it's our preferred method, is through our Patreon banner, which is right near our Amazon banner. All we ask for is $1 a month, and plus taxes. Apparently there's like VAT or something on top of that. But what you get for that is you get our main episode without the intros tacked onto the front. You get after the podcast, which only go out to our patrons. If we've been to the cinema and watched the film, both of us, we tend to do a spoiler cast, just covering the film in more detail. That goes out as and when we record it, rather than waiting down the line for closer to the home release. That goes out straight away to our patrons. All of that audio content as well, you get a special RSS link which you can put into your podcast app, and it just downloads them automatically for you. We also currently, because we're doing this across Zoom and it's working really well, we tend to put the videos on YouTube for our patrons as well. If you'd rather watch it, if we've got any visual stuff that we talk about, we'll show it on our videos. Yeah, and like I say, it's just $1 a month, nice and easy, and it's our preferred way because you get something in return.
You can pay slightly more than $1 a month if you fancy it as well. We're not far away from a specific milestone which would bring back Shipped High in Transit that I think both of us are quite keen to do at some point.
Definitely, yeah.
So yeah, I mean, every little helps, and you get more of us, and they're shows that we actually research and
plan, yeah.
And plan.
Actually, there are some already out there from when we were doing it before, so you can go and find Shipped High in Transit just to get a feel of what we're talking about and what the episode is. That's hosted by our good podcast network partners, Tom and Ant. Actually, rather than we're Ant and Tom, they're Tom and Ant. You know. Yeah,
that's right. Totally different people.
Yeah.
You can find us. I mean, you can find Shipped High in Transit. You can find them on Twitter at Shipped High.
Some people will agree with you.
Yeah, Stephen will. And they're on Facebook as well as we are. We're on Facebook.com/ABH Pod, and we're on Twitter at ABH Pod. We're also on YouTube.com/ABH Podcast if you want to watch us.
Yes, and you can get in contact with us through abhpod@gmail.com as well for longer term. If I don't know, there's no benefits to email anymore like there used to be. You know, Twitter, you can post as much as you want. On this episode, coronavirus is quite confusing to us, especially with this new rule of 6 coming out.
However, Brexit is back in the news, and the fact that our government is breaking international law.
Awesome. We also talk about things that we've been watching recently, which seems to be a theme at the moment because that's all we can do.
But first, you've hit a milestone. Let's talk about that.
Enjoy.
Yeah. So last day at work yesterday.
Yes. Yeah.
Final.
Officially unemployed at the minute for a day. Until I start tomorrow. Yeah. I wonder if I can get some back pay from the government for my 1 day unemployment.
You better go.
Couple of quid.
You better go.
Better than nothing.
Yeah. Why not?
Yeah. So, well, I mean, it's one of those weird things. Officially, my last shift was the 11th, but I didn't finish until the 12th because obviously it was nights.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was fine. Like, it's one of those things. Like people were saying, is it weird? Are you looking forward to it? Are you going to miss this place? Well, obviously, I'm going to miss doing that job, but I'm one of those people that I don't get excited for things or nervous for things too much. So, like, to me, it's whatever.
It's still working.
I don't know if I take things in my stride or I just don't know how to process my emotions. I just go blank and just get on with it. Yeah, it's fine. And people are like, you're nervous for tomorrow, you're all set. And I'm just like, I'll just turn up and see what happens.
Well, yeah, because you don't know really exactly what the role entails and what you're going to be doing, do you? So
plus, it's one of those
you got
things.
A good idea.
It's just training initially.
Yeah.
So it's not like I'm going to be dealing with clients or anything like that. Customers, clients.
Yeah.
I don't know what they refer to them as, but I mean, when I first go live on the help desk and talking to people, I'm sure it'll be very different. But hopefully, I imagine the training's going to be substantial enough that I'll know what to do, because they're not going to want someone who doesn't know what they're doing on the help desk. Like,
yeah, exactly.
It looks bad on the company. So
yeah. They'll train you till you know everything, and I'm sure it'll be fairly simple to process. Yeah. It'll be fine.
I mean, what I am looking forward to is 8-hour days, no nights.
Yeah.
And I was speaking to the recruitment guy the other day, and he said, like, initially for the first however many weeks, like for the foreseeable, it's going to be like Monday to Friday. So that's always good.
Yep. Yeah, absolutely. You get your weekends back again for a little while at least.
Yeah, that's it. But it's the 8-hour days I'm looking forward to, and being able to come home for more than like half an hour before having to go to bed. Yeah.
And not like having something massive crop up at the end of your shift, which means that you stay there for another 2 hours or something. That kind of thing.
Yeah, definitely that. Definitely.
A lockdown or an escapee or something like that.
Yeah, an escapee. Because it is fucking prison. Yeah, no. To be fair, at the minute, I don't think we've got anyone that's likely to do that. Well, they haven't. I say we. They haven't.
Yeah, it's not. It's not your.
That's
problem.
not me anymore. It's not my problem.
How easily we forget.
Yes. Yeah. But no. Yeah. I'm just looking forward to. And it's like I went to the pub for a couple of hours last night, and my ward manager was there. No, I wasn't really drinking at all because I was driving, but
yeah.
She was asking about it, and I said, "No, I'm looking forward to like minimal responsibility." And she's like, "Why? Do you feel like you have a lot of responsibility at work? Like there's a lot placed on you?" I'm like, "It's people's mental health we're sort of like responsible for, you know, like yeah, there's a lot of responsibility there. Sort of trying not to say the wrong thing.
Might not be the actual responsibility of your particular role.
Yeah."
But what is the wider context of
some sort of mental health in their life but it'll be nice. I mean, there's an element of responsibility because I will be providing help desk support for like healthcare industry. So it's like if their systems go down because of something I've done, whoops.
But at least from behind a computer screen, you only see it as like numbers rather than actual people.
Mute.
Which is what I had to figure out when I was working for the bank as well.
Yeah.
Like you're transferring thousands and thousands of pounds from one person's account to another, or like between their accounts. And if you make one digit a mistake in
the decimal in the wrong place,
yeah, it's serious. You can wipe a load of people's money, or you can add too much money, or you can send it to the wrong account because you've put in the wrong account number. You know,
God.
So you had to just think of it as numbers on a screen rather than the actual value of the. You know, that's what I think I'm saying is like, you know.
Yeah, if you, it's like the performance anxiety thing, isn't it? If you detach the actual value from it and just think of it as numbers, it's just numbers. There's no value to it. It's not that important. Just to take that pressure away of getting it wrong, because you put too much responsibility on yourself, you're likely to make a mistake. Oh yeah. But it'll be fine. I'm not nervous. No.
What's interesting to me is you've been to the pub more than me in the last 6 months. I've been to the pub once.
I've been 3 times. I've been 3 times. I've been to the 3 times. It's only it's the same pub as well, because I know what it's like. It's that. It's that sort of
It's it just strikes me as funny that
I'm going to the pub and you're not. Yeah.
Quite often I'd go to the pub 3 times a weekend.
I mean, I was working in healthcare, and nurses.
Yeah. No, I do definitely. I met a few. my university used to have
the student nurses.
Student nursing department.
Student nurses are even worse.
Yes, they are. Yeah.
I've made it worse.
See, I use my headphones as a hairband. It's fun.
Yeah. It's fine. For anyone that's not watching the video, I had a little just a curl that was just sticking up. I'm going for a haircut after this, so that's fine.
Good.
Yeah, interestingly, I say nurses. There were no nurses in the last 3 times I've been to the pub. So, but yeah, it's one of those. I know the venue quite well, and it's all outdoors, and there's quite a lot of space. Although last night there's the pub we go to, they've got like a little at the end of the bar. There's a window that they're serving out of, so it's almost like an outdoor bar, but it's just like a single window, so it's enough for one person to stand at. On a patio area, but there was 3 guys waiting for their table, and they were just stood in a circle, like a massive circle, like blocking this bar. And I was like, I need a drink.
That kind of
move
a little bit. Annoying.
It's like this whole garden, and you're stood there.
I
don't know, irresponsible bastards. Says the man going to the pub. But interestingly, there was 8 of us last night at the pub.
Yeah.
Tomorrow that'll be illegal.
Yes, it will.
Yesterday it was fine.
Because, he announced it on Friday, but you've got 2 days to do all your drinking before the rules come in on Monday when most people have gone back to work, rather than just bringing it in on Saturday when lots of people will be meeting up at the weekend anyway.
Yeah, although the pub was not busy at all last night.
No.
Like, it really strange. I was expecting it to, I had this fear that it was going to be absolutely rammed. But apparently they all did it on Friday.
Oh, okay.
According to the news, they would put everyone else out drinking Friday.
Yeah, I suppose that gives them an extra day to get over the hangover, probably.
Yeah,
I mean, a bank holiday weekend hangover.
That was my fear. Was when that was announced, I was like, "Fuck, it's going to be absolutely packed on Saturday now." But no, it wasn't too bad actually. It was perfectly fine. I think there was less than 10 people. Yeah, and we were 8 of them. No, I mean other people. There was less than 10 other people there.
Yeah.
And quite a big garden. So yeah, it was good. It was quite a nice send off. The thing is, I messaged everyone and I was like, all right, I'm going to get there at 6. So anyone that's on a night shift can pop in before their shift. Anyone that's on the day can come down after. So I got there at 6 o'clock and I was on my own until about 7 because no fucker turned up. And I was literally on my way out. I was leaving as somebody phoned. I was like, right, where are you? I'm here. And I'm like, for fuck's sake. I was pissed off.
That's slightly annoying.
But
as that whole thing, someone's put a time limit on something, so I'll turn up, fashionably late, and everyone's thought the same thing.
Yeah, and I was explaining to people as well. So one of my, because he was like, "Oh, you must have been really pissed off. That's so shit." And I was like, "Well," because like I say, one of my fears, one of my anxieties, or one of my my behaviours is that I feel that people don't actually like me, and they just put up with me. So sitting there for an hour on my own was great.
Yeah, that's good fun.
And it was just people and it's not upsetting. It's just me going well, it kind of confirms it, doesn't it?
Confirmation bias.
Yeah, exactly. And then the guy was there, and it's just actually, to be fair, just one-on-one's really good because I'm not a massive social person. I don't like big groups, so 5-6 people's fine. And so I don't really want a massive group of people here. However, my ego wants a massive group of people here. I need that validation.
But, you want everyone to come down.
But then if there was a massive group of people, I'm like, there's too many. I wish there was only a couple. It's it's a catch-22 situation.
Yeah.
But yeah. But no, I mean, like I say, in the end, there was 8 people there, and it ended up being a really nice time. Enjoyed it. But yeah.
Cool. Nice one.
Yeah.
Because I was having a chat with Smokey and Kev the other night. We had a little Zoom thing going on, and that was quite nice. Just having that kind of one-on-one over Zoom, if you like.
Yeah.
All good. But that's basically been the only real social interaction I've had in 2 weeks, apart from with Joe.
Yeah.
because Joe's gone back to work.
Oh yeah.
So we're kind of treating it as like there's a possibility that things could happen again, and
Yes.
meaning that we'd have to isolate. And obviously she's been 2 weeks back now, more or less. And yes, you know, a couple of kids from her school have been home because their parents are showing symptoms. And I know that there's another school around this area that has been reduced to half working from home and half in school.
Yeah.
So, you know, I mean, the threat is out there, isn't it? So
it's definitely coming back. Yeah, I would say because Chloe's back at school now as well. So yeah, it's difficult. How's she been finding work though? Is it
stressful? Because there was supposed to be a new block built for the English department over the summer, but because of COVID, they've not finished it in time for her to go back. So not only does she have to mix with tens of kids, she doesn't have a room that is her own. So she's moving between rooms all day as well. So, you know, coming into rooms where there've already been 3 lessons that day and 3 different teachers in there or whatever, you know, it's it's the logistical thing that's playing on our mind at the moment.
It can't be easy, and I mean the schools have sort of done as much as they can to prepare for this. It's never going to be
while
perfect.
Also being left to work it out for themselves individually. Exactly.
Oh yeah, the teachers sort of like how are they going to
yeah.
The school,
my mum's school, like the kids in Oakwood Park are kept in a room all day, and the teachers revolve.
Yeah.
So you got maths, and then your maths teacher leaves, and your English teacher comes in next, and like the kids don't move. And there are plastic screens between all the desks and all that kind of thing. I don't think that's the case in Joe's school, and certainly the kids are moving around the corridors as well as the teachers. So it's, you know,
yeah, and I mean it's all very well like keeping the kids in one room is sort of like so the kids are protected in that sense, but then for the teachers they're moving between classes, so like a teacher might see 4 or 5 groups of children each day, and one of those children might have something, and then these teachers that are moving are like touching all the stuff on the desks and touching the desks, but
there's probably fewer hands coming into contact with surfaces than there would be if all the kids were moving around. I guess is the point. There would actually be fewer because the teachers generally are further away from the kids.
Yeah, as
it is, you know, they've got like a little box that they you know, around the desk that they are in, like
children aren't allowed to enter. Yeah, that's exactly as Chloe's school are doing it. So the teacher's desk has a screen, but it also has a box that the kids can't enter.
Yeah.
And I think on looking at Chloe's timetable at the minute that she's restricted to 2 classrooms for her subjects.
Right.
So so most of the subjects are held in one class, and a couple of the classes, I don't know, for equipment purposes, probably like science and stuff.
Yeah.
Excuse me, you will go to a specific classroom set up for science and things like that. Yeah, but she's been fine, all right, taking it in their stride, the kids, aren't they?
I think so, yeah. I mean, kids are relatively adaptable, and it's just another thing to kind of get used to, isn't it? I guess.
I saw a nice post on Facebook. I don't know if you saw it. Our friend Phil put up on Facebook.
Don't know.
I've got to find it now because I want to get it right. He said, I can't believe it's nearly lockdown again already. I swear it gets earlier and earlier every year. I walked past the house earlier and he was already watching Tiger King and downloading House Party. It's only September, for fuck's sake. For me, lockdown doesn't start until I see my first banana bread. It's so true.
I like it.
Yeah. It is weird. Like it is happening. Like you said, like the cases doubled, or they're doubling every 2 weeks or something. Or
our numbers back up to like 1 to 1.2, which is when they said that they would have to lock down again but they're not, and they haven't. Have they? They've just put restrictions on people. You know, from 6 people from one household are allowed to get together, how many people live in a household? Well, I imagine there's quite a few people that live in households of 6, but still, like if you wanted to, what was it I heard on the news the other day? If one person wanted to visit a household of 6, one of those people in the house would have to leave.
Yeah, so that's what I was trying to figure out. So like Liz and like we're 3 in our household.
Yeah.
So in theory, you and Joe could come to us.
Yeah.
And we'd be okay because there's only 5.
Yeah.
So it's up to 6 people in one house at a time or in a group.
Mm.
So when you go to a pub, you can only be in a group of 6.
Yeah.
But there can be 20 groups of 6 as long as you're only a group of 6.
You can shout across the garden at each other.
But that restriction doesn't apply at school or at work.
Mm.
And I can still go to my climbing gym as long as I'm not in a group of more than 6.
Yeah. Don't know.
Because taxes, economy.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's so dodgy. It's so,
again, it's just like it's slightly open to interpretation,
mm-hmm.
and it's not enough. Like, what they should have done in the beginning was lock everyone down like New Zealand did.
Yeah.
Like no one is allowed out for a month unless it is an emergency or to buy essentials.
Yeah. I mean, there's confusion over when to self-isolate still. Like,
yeah,
someone Liz works with, this was a little while ago. So I was at work and she messaged me and I was like, oh, fuck, let me find out what's going on. So her colleague's husband started showing symptoms.
Right.
So her colleague had to go home to self-isolate. Now, obviously, this colleague has been in contact with her husband. Liz has been in contact with the colleague and I've been in contact with Liz. So I was like, do I self-isolate or not? I wasn't sure. And they were like, well, no, because you haven't been in direct contact with a person with symptoms. So you stay at work. Yeah. Yesterday, so Saturday, somebody went home because their brother had been tested positive, but she doesn't have contact with her brother, but she has seen her nieces and nephews. Okay. But then they still sent her home. I'm like, but that's not how it works because she's not been in direct contact with her brother. No. They're like, oh no, but the children could be carriers. And it's like, yeah, but they're not showing symptoms. It's like, yeah, but the children don't always show symptoms. And it's like, but...
So then everyone who's ever come into contact with this person in the last few weeks, been in the same room as this person, should probably be self-isolating in that case. Or not.
That's what I'm saying. Or who knows? Yeah, no, I thought it was only if you've been in direct contact with a symptomatic person or...
Yeah, the way I understand it, especially with like the Trace and Track app, is that it would say if you've been in close contact with someone who's got symptoms for 15 minutes or something like that, isn't it? Like if you've been, within a meter or two of someone for 15 whole minutes.
So now this person has got to self-isolate for 2 weeks, so...
Yeah, but then it's like all the stuff about travel as well, where like certain companies you have to quarantine yourself, but some you don't, and then it changes every other day. So like if you're in France and then all of a sudden France goes on the list of countries that you need to quarantine for, but again they give you like a day or two to come back before you have to. But then if they're going on the list anyway, why the fuck? If you rush home, why just...
Yes, one of our nurses, she was in Dubai on holiday when it went on the list. So when she went out there, it was like, cool, I'll go to Dubai, I'll come back and go straight to work. It was like, nope. No. She had to quarantine when she got home for 2 weeks. And it's like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
It's crazy.
It makes no sense, does it?
It's like, just don't travel.
Yeah, this is my whole thing. It's like I don't understand what is so important about going on holiday. Like, admittedly, like we're not people that go on holiday every year anyway.
No.
We don't go away every year anyway, so we're not in the habit of doing it. But that's literally all it is to some people. It's a habit. It's like, oh, I've got to go to Dubai to do my shopping. Get my cosmetic fix or whatever.
But then there's weird things like. So it's England, so for instance, you go to Spain. When you come back to England, you have to quarantine. But if you come back to Scotland, you don't.
Yeah, so you could
But
get
then
a flight
people travelling
into
between
Scotland.
England and Scotland, you don't
Yeah.
quarantine. So if you're in Spain and it goes on the lockdown list, just fly back to Scotland.
Yeah, and then drive
back
over the
to
border.
England,
Yeah,
and you don't
or get
have
on
to
a
quarantine.
train or something. Yeah, it's nuts, isn't it? Like, none of it is joined up. None of it makes sense. But what I
But there's
would
no
say...
enforcing of this either.
No.
There's no way to enforce it. So it's up to you whether you quarantine or not.
Yeah.
You could just keep quiet and then go about your day-to-day business.
Absolutely.
And no one will be any the wiser.
It's like these fines for not wearing masks in shops. The number of people that I see in various shops that aren't wearing masks.
Yeah.
And you just like... You realise that it's like it's £100 for the first time, and then every time you're caught, it goes up. It doubles up to about £10,000 or something, doesn't it?
I'm not sure.
But the fact is that shop staff aren't allowed to enforce it, just like they're not allowed to enforce stopping shoplifters because it's a danger to the staff members, and they're not liable. The companies aren't liable to cover their staff for enforcing these things. So it's down to the police, not even the security staff at the shops. And how often do you see police patrolling Asda? You know,
Exactly.
It doesn't happen, does it?
I have seen a bit of an altercation with someone not wearing a mask before. There's an older lady when I went into Tesco, and she wanted to go to the mobile counter, and the guy was like, "You haven't got a mask, I'm not serving you."
Yeah.
It's just like, but
I mean,
you know, I'll just. And he was like, "No, I'm not serving you. You haven't got a mask."
And that's the attitude that I would take.
She's like,
"Oh,
if well, you're very helpful, aren't you?" And it's just like,
"You're a dick."
Well, you're not wearing a mask. He's like, "I'm behind a plastic screen."
Yeah. There's a difference. Like, you're out there infecting loads of other people. I'm back here doing my job, and I don't want to. Yeah, it's bullshit. That's exactly the kind of attitude that I'd be taking if I was still in retail.
Yeah,
just do it for just because that's the rules.
Yeah.
My favourite things was always trying to have the upper hand. I mean, admittedly, management would normally come along and undermine you because they wanted to make the sale, and it's the worst thing. Because you're playing by the rules. Because if, for example, in bar work, I suppose, if you serve someone underage, you're liable for X number of £1,000 of fines.
Yeah.
And possibly you could lose your job. But if, you know, your bar manager or something was to come along and be like, "Oh yeah, I know these people," even if they didn't have ID when you asked to see the ID, because it was challenge 25 by the time I was by the time I'd left bar work. So for in this kind of theoretical situation, your bar manager comes along and is like, "Oh no, I know them, that's fine." And then you're the dickhead
that serves them
for upholding the rules. Like, they have got a problem with you for the rest of the time they're in that bar now. Do you know what I mean? Like,
but the annoying thing in that scenario as well is if you don't serve them, and then your manager comes along, knows that they're underage, but says, no, they're fine, you can serve them, and then you serve them, it's still on you.
Yeah, of course it is. Yeah, it wouldn't come back to the bar manager.
And
it was the same with the theory. No, genuinely, that never happened to me in my bar experience. But
it's one of those situations where you're like, hypothetically,
it could have happened, but like only because I can't think of a situation off the top of my head when I was in retail. But it would have been around pricing of something. You know, someone swapped a sticker on an item, and they're trying to get like a 50 quid thing for a tenner or something, you know, and you're like, I know
that looks wrong,
that isn't right,
but that's what it's priced at us, so I want it served, I want it at this price.
Yeah Fuck off. And then your manager comes over and goes, "Yeah, no, that's fine, blah blah blah, what are you doing, Tom?"
Whereas if you'd have done it without intervention, you sold that for £10, quite clearly it's not £10. Yep. The grunts. Yeah,
you get it from either angle.
Yeah.
However, there's a news story this morning from Nottingham. A man has been fined £10,000 for hosting a large house party in Nottingham.
Wow.
The 19-year-old... How many 19-year-olds have got 10 grand floating around?
Man.
Was issued with the was issued with the fixed penalty notice after he allowed more than 50 people into his home in Harlaxton Drive in Lenton on Friday. Wow. Nottinghamshire Police said it used its full powers to deal with the reckless organiser who deliberately flouted the rules after an initial warning. So he'd already been warned.
And he still did it.
Child. I suppose he was like, well, it's not rule of 6 until Monday, but still 50 people inside a house anyway is not allowed.
Yeah. And currently it is actually rule of 8.
Is that right?
I'm
don't know.
pretty sure it's still upheld. Like you shouldn't be in groups of more than 8. So like if you book a table at a restaurant, you can only book a maximum of 8 people. But
this is actually they've got a really good graph here, and it was something I was saying, that the devolved nations, Northern Ireland, Wales and Scotland seem to have a better handle on this than we have. I mean, at least, I know that their numbers are also rising slightly as well, but at least they've had days and weeks in some cases where there have been no fatalities.
Yeah.
Which we haven't, like England hasn't managed.
Ours has been like as low as like 2 or 3.
Yeah, I think so. It got down to like 2, 3, maybe even 1.
Yeah, and then the next day it was
2024 was like the most recent one, and it's like because the number of new infections has risen like that, like really sharply in the last couple of weeks. But deaths don't seem to be like spiking like that yet. No. But I don't know. But they've got a really good little graph on here. So the rules and guidance are meeting up. So England, how many people are allowed outdoors? 6 from multiple households from Monday. Scotland, up to 6, age 12 plus from 2 households. Wales, up to 30 outdoors. Northern Ireland, up to 15. At what distance should you be, social distancing? In England, it's 1 metre plus, whatever that means. Scotland, 2 metres apart, less in some premises. Wales, 2 metres apart, age 11 plus, only, if you're above 11 years old, less in some premises. And Northern Ireland, still 2 metres apart across the board. Then indoors, in England, you can have 6 people from multiple households. Scotland, up to 6 people aged 12 plus from 2 households. So not multiple households.
Yeah.
Wales...
So you still bubble with one other household,
Yeah. Wales, up to 6 people aged 12 plus from an extended household. So that, I guess, is
family?
Actually your bubble. Yeah, maybe, yeah.
Yeah, extended.
And then Northern Ireland is 6 people from 2 households. So again, like what we could do is have like 2 other couples from separate houses here in England, but that would be against the rules everywhere else in the UK.
Yeah.
Everywhere else you've got to be at least like from 1 other household.
Yeah.
And that's the thing, like England have got it wrong. Have had it wrong this whole time.
Yeah.
Like they've been way too lax.
For fear of upsetting people, I think.
Yeah, I know. And that's basically what it is, isn't it? But the problem is, like, they're politicians. They should fucking know that you can't make all the people happy all the time. That's basically what they do. And
have you seen that meme where it's the guy who's, I don't know where it's from, but it's like a guy like who's holding a gun up, and it's got like text, and in the next picture it's him like shooting someone and sort of and it's sort of like it's like the government, and it's saying you can do this and this while he's got the gun, and he turns around and shoots, and he's like, why are you doing this, young people? He's like blaming the deaths on young people, not the government.
And this is it. This is why they think it's all on young people, even though they've been at pains. Everyone has been at pains to be. We shouldn't be pointing the finger at one demographic only. Like it's not just young people, but they're all saying young people are getting together, and like we won't blame them, but we all know.
Yeah, we don't want to blame one demographic. There was a 19-year-old that had a house party. Have you seen the Russell Kane monologue
No, I haven't.
about these new rules. It's quite funny.
He is
quite
very
long,
good. He is
but it
very
is quite
good.
funny. It's like we found out the reason for all these infections, and like it's like it's not this. I can't remember what it is. It's not this rule. It's not that rule. It's not that rule. It's young people. It's just.
Yeah, it's bizarre, isn't it? I mean, the fact is, I think people are just, and they have been for some time, just tired and like they don't give a shit anymore. Like, there's so much contradictory bullshit that's happened over the last 6 months that people are just like, well, fuck it. Like, if Dominic Cummings can go and drive 50 miles to test his eyesight or drive 300 miles so that his kids can have someone to look after them while him and his wife have got coronavirus.
Yeah.
Like, fuck it. Like, if I can go down the road to visit my mates, can't I?
Yeah. And I think that's the thing. I mean,
ever since Dominic Cummings fucked up and didn't apologise and was kept in his job.
We've definitely been guilty of bending the rules ever so slightly. Like when we had that rule where it's like you can meet up with people, but only from one household. We were sort of doing that, but it's like one household at a time.
Yeah.
Like we had my mum and her boyfriend around. We had my dad and my sister around. We had Liz's friend from work. And it's just kind of like, but I think it's like this conversation that we had. It's like, as long as they're people that you know where they've been, you trust that they're
them.
Being careful.
Yeah. And this is why I stopped going to those barbecues a few weeks back as well. It's like, because every single one that I went to,
there was somebody.
I was being told that it was going to be right. It's this person, this person, this person, and it was all family. And it was like, right, okay, cool.
Yeah,
I know where you guys have been. Like, I trust you guys to, even though a couple of them work in, in retail and things like that. I was like, but you've been working in retail all this time, you haven't got it. Yeah. So, you take that on the chin. But every single one I went to, of the 2 out of the 3 that I went to, there were more people there than I was told was going to be there. And I just was like, no, fuck it. Like, this is undermining my trust of you now. Like, I can't take that. I'm not going to take the risk. Like, I don't want to be the person to pass it on to an elderly member of my family.
That's it. And I think that's what we need to realize. My mum, very confused about my mum. Like, she's like compromised immune system. Like, she's got a lot of health problems.
Yeah.
Yet she is working at one of the testing facilities.
Right.
But you have to imagine, obviously she's working at a hospital, so they're going to be taking all of the precautions.
Yeah.
So in actual fact, yes, it's probably very, very safe for her to do that. But I'm just like, what?
It doesn't make a lot of sense, does it? I suppose.
Yeah, but it's a hospital. Like, they're taking precautions.
Yeah, of course.
Liz's mum as well. We're in contact with her, and she's elderly and she's compromised immune system as well. So it's like we need to be very, very careful. Like I keep saying, like, I go to the gym, I'm going climbing, stuff like that, but it's quite a big facility. There's not many people there at a time, and I'm not standing right next to people. Yes, I'm touching the climbing holds, but then I'm not going and scratching my face, and and there's lots of cleaning stations around. So
yeah,
as long as you're being careful with it, it's I don't know, man.
Exactly.
It's just so weird. It's such a weird, and I don't foresee it getting back to normal anytime soon.
No,
at all. I mean, Christmas is fucked.
Yeah, I genuinely thought that, like, by the end of the year, maybe things would be returning back to normal. But then we all thought when lockdown happened that it would only be for a month or so. Like, oh, I'm being furloughed. I'm going to have a month off. Brilliant. It's going to be like 8 months by the time I get back to
it. How naive were we?
Yeah, I know. It's mad, isn't it?
That's crazy. But hey, we've got Brexit to look forward to.
This is the thing that I was going to go on to next, is that you notice that all the headlines are tilting away from coronavirus and back to Brexit again. It seems like the weirdest thing about this whole thing is that the government has decided to, like, just fuck the EU off even further than they already had previously by actually willingly breaking international law on some of the clauses in the agreement.
Right. I don't know if I've not read a lot about it, so I'm not entirely sure.
Yeah, I mean, it's I can't remember exactly what it is because, again, I'm just so fucking fed up with Brexit that I don't want to know. But there's something in the agreement that they've drafted up and sent to the EU last week that has really, really upset everyone. And it's because there's something in there that basically breaks the treaties of the thing that the EU sets out, but it's actually against international trading law.
Right. Because why not?
The government isn't going to change it.
They're sticking with it.
Yeah. And I don't understand, like, they're being threatened now with a court case. They're going to be sued by the EU if they don't redact these things from the bill by the end of September.
They're not that stupid, are they?
I just think they're pig-headed gammons, though, aren't they?
But I'm just thinking, are they hoping that if they broke the terms of this treaty, then that sort of invalidates the Brexit bill, so then they get to stay?
I think what would actually happen is if they go ahead with it, they'll get sued anyway, and then it will be the hard Brexit that Boris Johnson has been wanking himself furiously over for the last 3 years.
Yeah. It's a way to get it faster, and then just spend a bit more money. Why not?
It's just insane. I don't understand why it's still going ahead when no one has been talking about it for 6 months because of the coronavirus pandemic. There should be an extension to the.
You would think that the EU would allow, under these circumstances, they go like, right, okay, we'll just for now until we get this sorted, we'll just stay as we are. So we're still not members of the EU, but we still get the trade laws and stuff like that. We still get the freedom of movement, although you probably shouldn't use it. You'd think that they would give that extension, but they have said no. I'm pretty sure I read a little while ago they were like, no, it's still going ahead. We're still cutting you off.
Yeah, it's just, I mean, everyone's pissed off and like bored of it now. Everyone wants it to be over. But just everything about this government, though, has been, they've wanted hard Brexit from the beginning, and at every single turn, they've infuriated the EU by not acquiescing to anything, not agreeing to any terms.
I think a good visual representation of what's been going on with this government is that scene in The Simpsons with Sideshow Bob and the Rakes.
Right, yeah.
Yeah. I think that's it. It's just like, shit. Oh, shit. Oh, shit. Oh, fuck. I think that's like that just sort of sums up what's going on.
Yeah. I'm just trying to find out exactly what it is that... it's something to do with the border of Northern Ireland.
Oh, God, it's not... But was that something that was a point of contention a while ago, wasn't it, as well?
Yeah.
The border. I've not.
Yeah,
really...
it's something to do with barriers to trade between Northern Ireland and the rest of the UK.
Okay.
So putting a basically, it goes against the Good Friday Agreement, essentially.
Yeah, which has been an argument from the start about the Good Friday Agreement, hasn't it?
Because no one
still
wants
not got it sorted.
No one wants to reignite the IRA. Really, that would be a bad thing.
Apparently, Tony Blair and John Major have joined forces to tell the MPs to reject Prime Minister's Brexit bill. Yeah.
And that shows you, doesn't it? Like two ex-prime ministers from both sides of the aisle are against it. I mean, John Major's a massive anti-Brexiter anyway.
Yeah, and Tony Blair is Labour-ish, from what people say. He was Labour-ish.
Yeah. He was a left-leaning conservative, basically.
Yeah.
But still, it's interesting.
Let's see if they've got it here. Yeah, the Prime Minister has said the European Union is threatening to impose a customs border in the Irish Sea, separating Northern Ireland from the rest of the UK. Mr. Blair and Sir John have accused the government of embarrassing the UK. Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, so apparently, they want to put the border in the Irish Sea.
Yeah, which is something I remember them mooting anyway, but I wasn't sure whether that just related to the Republic of Ireland trading into the other parts of the UK. But it seems now there's going to be a frictionless border between Northern Ireland and the Republic, but the border
it's going to separate Northern Ireland from the rest of the UK.
Which I suppose makes sense if you've got a frictionless border between the two parts of Ireland.
Yeah, and it's
almost like unifying Ireland.
Yeah,
which is exactly what the Ireland wants.
Yeah, but I think this is one of those where it gets confusing over like people are like, but isn't Northern Ireland part of Great Britain? And you're like, yes,
yes,
it's not part of the United. No, it's part of the United Kingdom, but it's not part of Great Britain because it's the United Kingdom of Great Britain and Northern Ireland. So it's like, and even it's we get confused.
It's part of the UK, but it's not part of Great Britain.
But the UK's come out of the EU, not Great Britain, so therefore Northern Ireland should still be able to trade.
Yeah, because it's
alongside
Great
the UK.
It's nuts.
Yeah,
it's a really, really, and that's why there's been so much trouble with anything to do with Ireland.
Yeah,
over the last centuries, But I don't know, man. Like it feels to me like England is leading the way because Parliament is here in London.
Yeah,
and they're just belligerently not listening to anyone else. And I definitely think if there's another independence referendum for Scotland, they will go and they will rejoin the EU.
Yeah.
And I tell you what, I'd be bloody tempted to move there.
Yeah.
If it weren't for the weather.
If it weren't for the cold, yeah. It's just...
No, it's nuts. And I can see, eventually all the constituent parts of the UK going independent from each other.
Yeah.
And it will just be England left as this tiny pariah state who are like, oh, we're great.
Yeah. Do you remember when we had all of this? It's like, but you fucked it up. You gave it all away.
Yeah. And it wasn't yours to take in the first place.
No.
Yeah. Absolutely fucking nuts. But hey, at least it gives us something else to moan about.
We've got such little man syndrome.
It's unbelievable, mate. Yeah. All the country's glory days are way behind.
Yeah.
Like,
we Great Britain.
Yeah. From the days when
we were.
yeah. Ahead of the world in industrial, technology and all this kind of thing. I don't know. It's all bullshit. I've got a title for the episode, mind you.
Oh, have you? Cool.
Yeah, I was going to put it as Corona Fusion. So we had Corona Mania at the beginning.
Yeah.
Talking Corona Fusion, like confusion.
Yeah.
It's a kind of a play on words. It's not as good as Corona Mania, mind you. But yeah, apart from that, that's all really that's been going on. Like Joe and I took a trip down to Dungeness the other week.
Okay.
Just before she went back to work.
Yeah.
She'd never been there before, and I was like, it's bizarre. It's an alien landscape. It's weird. It was strange. We got there and like the tide had gone out. And it was out by like a mile. It must be really shallow there.
Yeah. It's the same with Dymchurch, which is a little while up. Like you can see Dungeness from Dymchurch. Yeah. And when the tide goes out, it goes out so far.
Yeah.
It's just ridiculous.
It's unreal.
I mean, probably not quite a mile at Dymchurch, but yeah. It takes a while to walk down to the sea when it's fully out.
Yeah,
and it comes in so fast.
That's it.
It's really easy to get caught short there. But thankfully, it's quite shallow. So
true. But what had happened as well is obviously the tide went out so quick. By the time we got there, the tide was well out and had been out for a while. But there were thousands of dead crabs that had been like picked apart by seagulls because they weren't fast enough to go out with the tide. It was like a massacre.
Yeah,
it was unreal. Like, I've never seen so many
you get that. And obviously again, Dymchurch probably gets the bits that the seagulls have dropped because there's just crab legs everywhere.
Yeah
just all over the beach.
I kind of wish that we'd been there a few hours before as the tide was going out and just seeing
the panic of the crabs.
Yeah. It was mad. And then there was like this dogfish that had beached itself there.
Really?
It was like 2 feet long.
Oh, you put up pictures of it actually. Yeah. I remember you putting up pictures of it. Yeah.
Yeah. It was bizarre. I don't know what had happened to that. But then there'd been like quite heavy storms the night before, so maybe that was disoriented it or something.
So how did you go down to the power station at all? Did you...
No, we parked about halfway along the beach and then walked down one way and then up the other way to the Pilot, the pub there.
I haven't been there for a long time.
Yeah, there's a pub on the corner of the beach before the power station.
Yeah.
That does really good fish and chips, and that place was heaving.
Yeah.
So many people.
I think the only time I've actually ever been down there was when we went on a school trip to the power station. It's a good idea to walk school kids around the power station. Why not?
It is nuclear, isn't it?
Yeah. I remember they were talking about the rods. Like they sort of like, look at this. It's a rod. Like, It's... But no, it was really interesting as a kid. It was quite interesting, sort of like hearing about like why it's built on the sea. It's to obviously cool down the rods because nuclear power creates a lot of heat. But it just seems odd, like that you walk kids around a nuclear power station. But I suppose it's cool.
Must be safe enough. But yeah, so that was a nice little day. That's basically that was our holiday this year. A day out down Dungeness.
Yeah, we went to Hythe to see because our friends Pete and Zoe, Pete's parents have got a house down there.
They do, yeah.
So we went down to see them one weekend. Sat on the beach with them, and that was really nice. And we went to Dymchurch. We took Liz's mum to Dymchurch. We haven't been there at all this year. That's the only time we've been. The place was heaving, mate. I didn't like it. Went to the amusements and I was like, nah. Not for this. The beach wasn't busy, but the amusements were.
Right.
But no, that was really nice. Other than that, watch Cobra Kai, both seasons of Cobra Kai.
Yeah.
Have you seen any of it yet?
Are you a
Karate Kid fan?
Not massively.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So it doesn't hold any of the nostalgia for me. Like, I've watched them.
Yeah.
They're good. I enjoy them, but I'm not really bothered about this, if I'm honest.
It's brilliant.
Yeah.
Like, I think even as a standalone thing, it's really good. But I think if you've seen, not even necessarily if you're a massive fan, but if you know Karate Kid and if you know it quite well, you would appreciate some of the references in it.
Sure.
And some of them you're looking at, you're like, God, it's sort of like, they stretched for that. But it's very, very self-aware.
Yeah.
Like they know what they're doing. They know that they're just shoehorning in references.
Yeah.
And it's funny. It's like cheesy, but it's really funny. It's like some quite heartfelt moments in it, and it is good. I definitely recommend it.
I've heard nothing but good things by everyone that I know who's watched it.
Yeah.
I'm in the middle of writing an episode at the moment, and it's
you ain't got time for that shit.
Nah. I mean, like, it's been nice actually that Joe's been away, because I've had full days of just sitting down, because I know the next one is going to be mammoth. It's The Clash.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
So
this is the big one.
I'm 30 pages in and I'm only up to 1982.
Jesus. 2-parter? 3-part?
Maybe. But the other thing that I've done as well is that I've put up a new canopy between the house and the outhouse here.
Oh, okay, yeah.
because I had to take it down, the old one down, to get the asbestos roof
Yes, I remember,
taken off last year. And finally got the time and the, like I can do it all on my own. So Joe's not around to see me get pissed off and piss me off further by telling me not to get pissed off.
Or have you tried? Why don't you just...
Yeah. She came home from work early one of the days and I was just like, right, I'm stopping now.
Yeah.
Can't, no. Because she started being like, oh, why don't you do it this way? I'm like, no, I'm doing it my way.
Yeah.
Because I know what I'm doing.
Yeah.
And don't confuse me. I've got my plan. I'm sticking to it. I know exactly what I'm doing.
Yeah.
And sure enough, after the second day, I got it all completed and she was like, that's a really good job.
And you're like, I know.
Yeah. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. That's it. Yeah, not I know, just thank you.
Yeah.
But that, I know what. Yes, I know what you're saying.
Yeah, but that's my other thing that I've been doing this last week.
Yeah,
is being a bit handy. Also keeping on top of exercise and stuff like that. It's just nice. Get up just as Joe goes to work, do a bit of exercise in the morning, sit down, do a bunch of writing.
Yeah,
I've done some union courses as well.
Oh, nice.
A couple of weeks. So that's been nice, just kind of having a chat with other people.
Yeah.
Outside of my podcasting
yeah.
fraternity.
That's it. Yeah, see, I'm going to have to make more of an effort because there's some people that I worked with at the hospital that are genuinely like spending time with and they're friends. So
yeah,
I need to find time over the next few weeks to get a habit of actually making contact with them. Just so that gets stuck because I'm quite easily I will just not. You know what I mean? So
well, the thing is, it's one of those things, isn't it? You leave one place and you go on to the next place and you're making friends there and you're concentrating on getting on at the next place, and naturally things fall apart. It's like, I think from uni I only really talked to one, maybe two people.
Yeah.
When I had quite a large group of friends up there and I was like, well, these are new friends that I've made for life.
Yeah.
And what I've also found during lockdown is that I only really talk to maybe 2 or 3 people from work on a regular basis.
Okay. Yeah.
Like when we're not sat down at a desk together.
Yeah. I mean, realistically, there's one, two. So there's one person. So it's weird. So like when I'm not, actually when I'm working at the hospital, there is one, maybe, like you say, 1 or 2, possibly 3 people that I talk to outside of work.
Yeah.
I get on with other people at work really well. When I'm at work, but I only speak to them at work.
Yeah.
Whereas outside of work, there's only a couple that I speak to, and they're the people I really want to make the most effort with. And I'd like to keep in contact with others, but it's not going to be like a regular thing. Yeah, it's just so difficult. But I know, like, if I don't make the contact, I'm just not going to. If I don't do the initial thing, it's not going to happen.
Yeah.
And I'm under no illusion that at the new place I'll make friends that I'll probably talk to. One of the guys that came last night, he plays D&D. And they've been like for months and months and months. They've been saying, "Yeah, we'll get you in. Yeah, we'll get you in. We'll get you in a game." And it's just not happened. And like last night, he was like, "I am going to get you in a one shot. Like, we are going to do it." And I was like, "Please, I want to play." Like, I've got a set. I want to see what it's like. I enjoy it, like watching other games and stuff, and I just like the idea of it. And if I can play a couple of games there, I might be able to sort of host a Zoom game, like try and get a short thing going.
Yeah, if you've got a reason for meeting up with these people, then that's gonna be more likely that will progress. You know, you will keep in contact with them more because you'll become part of that little group.
The group,
I guess. Yeah. Oh, speaking of D&D, have you been? I've been watching Lovecraft Country.
Oh, okay.
On Sky.
I haven't seen any
series by J.J. Abrams and Jordan Peele.
Okay, so that's going to be quite good then.
Yeah.
With those two.
It's kind of set in, I think it's late 50s, early 60s, segregated America.
Okay, interesting.
Just after the Korean War, so probably late 50s, I would say. And main character is it kind of he reads a lot of science fiction and especially Lovecraft type books. And his father has gone missing, which is why he's come back to Chicago where he lived, and he's kind of meeting all the people that he grew up with. But they then go, his uncle, who is played by what's his Courtney B. Vance from Miami Vice, old school. His uncle and his cousin go on a road trip to try and find his dad, and they just get like ambushed by racist police officers.
Wow.
But then there are also like Lovecraftian monsters lurking in the woods and things like that. And there's this whole thing about magic and secret societies and things like that. And like each
really
episode is slightly different. Like the first one involves the first one kind of sets the tone with like vampires and kind of sets the kind of racist thing going on. And the second one's kind of like gives you a wider look at the secret society that they're battling. And then the third one was like a haunted house episode. And the fourth one has been like, it was basically Indiana Jones and the Last Crusade.
Wow.
But it's all this thing where like there's this whole there's a through line. I'm not quite sure what it is yet.
So that's what I was going to say. Is it more? It's more episodic.
It's not. That's the thing. Like the story continues, but it's almost like each episode has its own genre nearly.
But that's like some of the Doctor Who. I'm trying to think who it would have been. I'm not sure who the showrunner was at the time. I'm not that well into it, but there were a couple of seasons that were quite clearly the same showrunner where they had like this story that wove through all of the episodes. Yeah. The episodes had standalone stories, but then there was this little tacked on bit.
Yeah.
To have like a continuation through the series.
Yeah.
Which sounds like that's probably how this is as well, which I quite like that sort of thing.
It means that you don't have to invest time binging it. You can take it because it's a weekly show. It's an HBO show. Like it's not all available at once. You do have to watch it in installments.
But it's one of those things that rewards you if you do watch all of it and pay attention.
Yeah, definitely.
You can just watch episodes on their own and it'll be fine.
Yeah.
But speaking of Jordan Peele, actually, I watched Us a couple of weeks ago after we spoke about it. Yeah. What I really love about it is like, and this is what's happening. And it's like, there's no explanation of why it doesn't, there doesn't have to be any justification. It's like classic monster movie.
Yeah.
Like there is a monster or monsters and they're fighting them.
Yeah.
Just because. It's
in
really
a way,
cool.
It's like he does very, very classy B movies.
Yeah. It's definitely B movies.
Because even Get Out. Have you seen Get Out?
I've not seen Get Out. No.
It's a B movie kind of reveal, if you like. Yeah. Very kind of
like the I want to say the twist in Us. Like I saw that coming from a mile off.
You knew the
Yeah. I saw it coming from a mile off, but it was really cool. And you are watching it like, what? And then in the end you're just like, okay, that was cool. That was good fun.
But isn't Lupita Nyong'o great?
Mate, she's awesome. I love her. I absolutely love her. So stunning woman as well. Like, but yeah, it's just really, really great actress. I think all of them in there were really cool. Like the way they played both parts, like it was really cool.
Yeah.
But yeah, I just it was it felt so old school.
Yeah.
Like old school sort of slasher horror thriller sort of thing. It was great.
Yeah.
But I did really enjoy it. Yeah, I do really want to watch Us, but I think Get Out, but I think Us was on Sky Store. So after we spoke about it, I think I saw it and downloaded it and watched it when I was at home once. And yeah.
Because I don't think we got much in the way of shout outs for what people have been watching in the last couple of weeks, have we?
No.
Didn't see any anyway.
I'm like, did we ask? Probably.
Yeah. But I went to the cinema.
Yes. You did.
And I guess we could talk a bit more about this on the Patreon episode, perhaps.
Definitely. Yeah. You have been to the cinema.
Yes.
You're going to tease what you saw?
Well, what else is out?
Yeah, I know. Good point.
Tenet. Deserves to be seen on the big screen. I'm not entirely sure what I did see.
Not entirely sure what you saw, but you saw it.
I saw it, and there were only like 10 other people in one of the most, the bigger screens down there. So everyone was well kept apart. Everyone kept their face masks on the whole.
So like concessions and stuff open or not?
I didn't notice, but then I didn't.
You don't
try either. I mean, I do, but I just thought, well, I'm not going to for this. I would rather not.
Yeah.
I mean, admittedly, I did take my mask off as soon as the lights went down because, fuck that, it's 2.5 hours long. I'm not. But, I was sitting so far away from everyone else that it really didn't matter.
Yeah.
But yeah, the film itself, interesting.
Fair enough. I can't really say much more than that, can we?
Confusing, shall we say.
Yeah.
Just like everything else at the moment.
Yeah.
So with that, I guess just be as careful as you can.
Yeah. And I think the lesson for us, like in more recent times, like as a society, like is if you bend the rules, sometimes
you might be all right.
You take a step back as well. Like people have been bending the rules, and we've had to take a step back. So
so maybe play by the rules a little bit more. Don't invite 50 people over for a house party.
No, it's a good way to lose 10 grand.
And what's the new one? Hands, face, space. So this episode of Anywhere But Here, I've been Tom.
I've been Ant.
Stay safe. Bye.